Welcome back to the channel, Warhammer Man back in the studio, and today we've got some free points updates from GW. If you're new to the channel, make sure to like and subscribe for daily videos for Warhammer 40,000, Kill Team, Necromunda, Age of Sigmar, Warcry, and even some Horus Heresy as well. So a great revelation by GW, they have decided to release the points updates for free for both Age of Sigmar and Warhammer 40,000. So we have the Warhammer 40,000 points coming down the line. With the new chapter approved book, absolutely free. Well, the book will be sold separately, but the points updates will be free, just for clarification. And then also here with the General's Handbook as well, again, we see the book will be sold separately, but the points updates will be free. So let's take a look at what we've got going on here, and free points updates for Warhammer Age of Sigmar as we march into the new season. So General's Handbook, Pitch Battles 2022-2023 Season 1 is up for pre-order. So that does come out next Saturday. And there's new binding on that book as well, which is pretty cool. So it has like the ring style binding as opposed to your traditional book binding, which in my opinion is a huge update or upgrade. And typically I've had like some of my Kill Team books bound like that. Typically you're going to spend, depending on where you live, somewhere between like $5 to $20 doing something like that. So it is a nice little upgrade to provide straight from them. And then there's a lot of people that never take the initiative. So again, very cool. And I think that will kind of like get people used to how much better it is. So that being said, taking players to the splintered land of Gallet. The new season brings with it a myriad of updates, new rules, and fresh battle plans that will change the way you wage war in the mortal realms. Among those changes are some comprehensive slate of points updates for every faction in the game. In fact, these changes are so sweeping that we've decided to make them available for free. You can download them below, and they'll be regularly updated in the future. So I like that. I think this is great. Having a living point system makes it so they can much more actively make changes to the game to make sure that it is balanced and fun. So while there's still some kind of struggles at times in 40k and Sigmar with balance, especially when new rules or new books or whatever data sheets are coming out, I think over time we're going to get a much better comprehensive balance because they can actively balance the game without having to put out a bunch of new books or something like that. And in my opinion, it's much easier to balance using points than it is a bunch of other stuff. Now, it can be more effective to use the other stuff in many ways, but with points you can kind of tweak it without actually changing the way a model or unit acts in the game, which is important. So the points costs listed in Pitch Battles profiles are one of the key ways to balance match play games for Warhammer Age of Sigmar, alongside the Warhammer Studios quarterly balance update in the shape of the Battlescroll. This online resource will be your one-stop shop for every points value in the game, making it easy to reference whether you're throwing dice with your pals at the house, meeting new people in your local Warhammer store, or at the cutting edge of competitive play in tournaments. As ever, the Warhammer Age of Sigmar app will also include these points updates, but this free download collects everything into one place. And again, I just think that's great. It's definitely a move in the right direction. I know you guys know that I am very critical of GW when they're doing bad stuff, but I also will sing their praises when they're doing good stuff. And in my opinion, both of these changes, not just the points, but also the binding in the book, they're huge changes for me. You may not think one or the other is as important, but definitely a good sign. So let's take a look. All right, so here we have the General's Handbook. So now, for note, it is 36 pages, including the cover right here. So not going to go like too crazy into detail. I mean, obviously you can go to the link. I will provide it down in the notes, and you can get all of these for yourself. But we see in the contents it has the pitch battle profiles, order, chaos, death, destruction, and then some additional pitched battle profiles. So everything is covered in this thing. There's a little breakdown basically to kind of get you started, talking about how all of this works, sort of like a instruction guide for it. And then we start to see the actual points updates. Now again, you can just go ahead and have a look at this yourself. I'm not going to go through like every single point update, but I like how they have it laid out. So you can go straight to your order tab, and then you can basically just look down here. It says what war scroll card or unit you're looking at, and then the unit size, the points of that unit size, and then your battlefield role, and then of course like some notes over there as well. So for instance, we have the Hellblaster volley gun, unit size is 1, points is 125, battlefield role artillery, and then notes, obviously single. because it is a single model. And then if we look at one of the units, we see like the bleak swords. Unit size is 10, points is 90. Obviously that's 90 points for the whole unit, or 9 points per. And then we have battle line is their battlefield role. And then just to kind of see some where the notes are a little more important, we have Charybdis, one per unit, 150 points. Behemoth, and then single, battle line, and an anvil guard army. So it basically has like some special rules kind of stuff on there. It allows them to modify, what they need to modify here, not just points, but to change any specific stuff or, clarify. So overall, I think it's nice. I like the layout of it. It's pretty smooth. You will see when you go to like change pages, like with all Games Workshop stuff, that there's like kind of a lag while it loads. Doesn't surprise me. Obviously, their servers can never keep up with anything they're trying to do on them, whether it is Warhammer community, whether it is the GW website, whatever. So, but beggars can be choosers. Obviously, great that it is free. So we can kind of go through here. You have like your cities of Sigmar, some allies in there, special characters like Gotrek, Gurnison. And then we obviously just keep on rolling down here. So overall, I think it's great. This is a pretty well laid out, pretty comprehensive list. It's 36 pages, so there is a lot here. You could easily print this off or pay to have it printed off if you wanted to. There's not a lot of pages that you could just skip through here. There's not just a ton of like filler or anything like that. I mean, it is all just straight up information. So overall, I think they did well. Now, I personally don't know off the top of my head, like memorize the points of these units or anything like that. So I can't look at these and tell specifically like what changes have been made to like every faction as we go through. I'm sure a lot of you guys who play specific factions and are more familiar with those specific factions can look right at something and tell, did it go up or down? There's no reference like that. We don't see like a little plus in green if it went up or a minus in red if it went down. So you have to kind of compare it to the old rules or just use this and forget about the old points. So however it works best for you. But it is laid out pretty nicely. It does show, again, everything you need. Got all the basic info on there as well as the points and everything. You can't like super fast like scroll through it or anything again because it's it's Warhammer community or like whatever hosting GW is using is never the best. So but that being said, really nice setup, nice layout. I'm a fan of this. I think it's great that they're releasing this for free. I think to tell you the truth, here's my view on it. If you're playing for fun or with your friends or, semi-competitively at a shop where you're trying to win, but, there's nothing really on the line or anything. I think this is great, especially to give it away for free, because then you don't feel like you're forced to have to buy this book or the General's Handbook or whatever and spend money just to use your stuff that you already own. But, realistically, I think for most people, you probably only play one or two, maybe 3 armies if this is your like main game. So it's not that hard to just come in here if you really wanted to and print off like the 3 pages that you need. So if you're playing Chaos or you're playing Stormcast or whatever, it's not that hard to come in here and just get the couple pages that you need, print them off, and then just have it. You can slide it right in the back of your battle tome or just keep it with the rest of your documents, etc. Obviously, the digital stuff will be updated as well, so that is nice. But the truth is, if you're a competitive player or, you like to have all the books or all the most recent updates or, you were planning on buying the General's Handbook anyway, honestly, you would probably prefer that this is just inside of the General Handbook. So it could go either way. I mean, I think there's very few people that are probably going to go in here, look at these 36 pages and say, man, I've got to just print all this out, get it bound, and then turn it into like my own book. I just don't think that's going to happen. I think for most people, you're going to say, okay, I play Skaven. Let me go to the Skaven page. Let me, look at how many pages there are. So we have, basically like 2 to 3 pages of most of these. You print off those 2 to 3 pages. You slide it right in your battle tome. Boom, you're done. I think that's the most effective way to do it. And I think that's probably what most people are going to do. So that being said, I really like this setup. You let me know what you think down below. Always like to hear your guys' comments. I think anytime a company gives something away for free that they otherwise were selling or could have sold or would have sold, I think that's great. So that being said, I think this is a big step in the right direction, letting people feel like they don't have to buy every single publication that comes out. They don't have to pay to get the points, or they don't have to become, a pirate just because they don't want to waste, 30 to 50 bucks, waste in parentheses, on a book that they otherwise wouldn't have purchased. So that being said, I will leave the link in the description if you want to go ahead and get a hold of this. I'd like to hear back from you guys. If you see any big changes to points, something specifically that jumps out at you, like this went up by 20% or this went down by 20%, that might actually change the state of the game. But I do like that they have been actively balancing their various games lately. I do like that they're releasing the points for free, and then obviously it's probably not that important for most people, but I really do like that they changed the binding on this as well, or on the General's Handbook as well. I think that is huge. I'm not sure if anybody else has had bad experiences lately. GW's binding has come a long way. It's much better quality than it used to be, but my Tyranids Codex, I think I had it for maybe 3 or 4 days, and I take really nice care of my stuff for someone that actually reads and uses books. So I don't just take it out of the package and put it up on a shelf. I actually read through it, but I mean, I don't go out of my way to crazy rough up the pages. I'm not creasing stuff left and right. I take really nice care of things. And the binding on my Tyranid Codex broke in I don't even know, it was 3 days. Pretty unbelievable. I was a little surprised about that. So basically the back couple pages of my codex are already starting to fall out. So that was rather surprising. I don't think that's going to be nearly as much of an issue with a nice spiral or plastic binding. And again, it could have been a fluke. I have a bunch of the other most recent publications from GW and haven't had that same issue. So maybe I just got a bad binding on that one codex. But when it's all said and done, overall, I like the changes. Let me know what you think down below. And then obviously we will have very soon one coming out for 40K as well. Definitely a little more excited about that, as I'm much more of an avid player of 40K and skirmish games than I am of Sigmar. To tell you the truth, the majority of the Sigmar models that I have, paint, collect, etc., I either have because they're really cool or so that I can use them for Dungeons and Dragons. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up there. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to like and subscribe, share with your friends. We do put out at least one video every single day, always to keep you updated with Warhammer 40,000, Kill Team, Necromunda, Age of Sigmar, Warcry, and some Horus Heresy content as well. And then obviously, if you haven't checked them out previously, we are a commission-based studio, so we always show off all of our techniques. We have all kinds of videos, basically tutorials on painting, modeling, conversions, always discuss exactly what paints were used, what steps were taken, and then there's lots and lots of examples of those being done. So that being said, going to go ahead and wrap it up there. Make sure to like and subscribe, comment down below, as it really does help out the channel. But that's it for today. Warhammer Man Studios, I'm Warhammer Man, and I'm out of here.